Okay. Good morning. Welcome to the Raleigh County Commission meeting of December 21st. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any public comment this morning?
Good morning, Commissioner.
Morning.
Here on behalf of the REACH Committee, to present to you our January employee of the month. And this was the nomination form that was turned in for them. So this person's been in Kansas less than 6 months. They worked at Public Works for less than 4. In these months, she has been a beam of lights, seriously. She's awesome, funny, quick learner. All of our customers and callers love her. I would say the only negative quality she has is she does not like Mexican food. Betsy is a lovely addition to Public Works. So I have a plaque for you and 2 key tickets.
Name?
So you have a special parking spot out there with the Calvin and the guy. So that's the funny thing for you to park for a month.
Were you surprised?
That was the point.
And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Congratulations.
Good, how are you? Love the time.
Let's.
Really enjoy their name tickets.
Have a good day. Have a Merry Christmas.
Fills up the energy's right out.
Yeah, we got what, 3 left? Oh, well, we've got another public comment.
Quite exciting. Just wanted to give a reminder that the transfer station will be closed Saturday at noon and on Christmas for the holiday, and then also first.
Yeah.
First, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment this morning? Seeing none, we'll go to commission comments. Commissioner McKinley.
Okay, well, yesterday was a meeting for the North Central Regional Juvenile Detention Facility in Geary County Secure Care Center.
Oh, they added.
No, it's always been. I always
Chopped it up a little bit.
talked about that, but they approved a new complaint protocol to try to settle meetings down and tabled the drug testing protocol for some other revisions. They've been working on that, and then they presented a review of all the programs that they have in place for the juveniles that are in there. They've got a lot of stuff that they work with them on. They go to school and teach them life skills, and they can do GED if they want to do that. And then yesterday afternoon, I ran over, went in to schedule a oil change for my car and got caught by a couple of Keats visits.
Oh, you did?
And had a long discussion on that. So, then that was about it. And then also this week, the K-State women's basketball team had a couple of easy wins, and Ioka Lee shot and made her first 3-point of her career. She'd never even shot a 3-pointer before. She shot one and made it.
On a set play.
Yeah, on a set play. They had a set play for her.
Well, that's
And
cool.
the place, and we didn't go last night. I watched it. The crowd exploded when she And that's all I've got.
Commissioner Ford?
If she's not like one of the top 3 picks or the top pick, I'm gonna be like really, really frustrated.
Yeah.
I mean, she's outplayed everybody, including the girl from LSU and the girl from Iowa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt, that's just gonna be frustrating. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Sorry. Monday afternoon, attended the December meeting of the Riley County Law Board at the City Hall. Passed the consent agenda, some of the items there. Heard an update from our Order of Police Lodge 17, Community Advisory Board. Several awards were presented, one from the VFW Post 1786 for Law Enforcement Officer of the Year and Corrections Officer of the Year, as well as 2 separate life-saving awards for several dispatchers that took place in 2023. We passed the Riley County Law Enforcement Agency meeting resolution for all the meetings for 2024. Software server purchase through the RCPD Information Technology Reserve Fund, development of an active school shooter training curriculum. There'll be more on that as we get into next year. And let's see, the gap waiver after the 2022 audit presentation was given by James Gordon Associates. Finish up the meeting with an executive session on matters of non-elected personnel to finish out that meeting. Tuesday afternoon, I attended the Zoom December state and local officials webinar with the Council on Foreign Affairs. This one was titled U.S. Trends in Global Labor and Productivity. Michael Spence, Distinguished Visiting Fellow at CFR, and Sharon Block, Professor of Practice and Executive Director at the Center for Labor at Harvard's Law School. Both speakers provided a global perspective on the changing landscape of labor and economic productivity here in the country, and they discussed this year's strikes, balances and strikes, and the economic implications of increased collective labor activity within the country. A very robust question and answer session followed, as you can probably imagine, after that dialogue. Also on Tuesday, I attended the December Board of Meetings Director for the Manhattan Area Chamber of Commerce. Consent agenda was a pass that included the minutes from the November meeting, financials through the end of November as well, and an update on all the membership accounts. A couple of the discussion items, and I had to bring part of it with me here. Part of it was mentioned this morning too, but was an update on all the 2024 officers, a member of all their applicable boards for the 2024 cycle. Approval of consideration of the 2024 budget was also made by the board. Mike Mattson made a presentation on the Chamber's state policy priorities for 2024. Those were mentioned this morning during Good Morning Manhattan. I'll get to that in a second. Just wanted to mention the local ad valorem tax refund. They are going to support the refunding of that. I think that's the first time they've done that in their state policy. And they also, the alternative evaluation of that dark store theory, they're not in favor of that one either. So those are just 2 county related things that were on that state priority list. I have a copy of that if anybody wants to see the full top to bottom one there, or I can make copies of it, either or. Let's see, what else did we discuss on Tuesday? It seems like a long time ago. Jason Smith also gave a presentation on the economic development strategy that they're going to be working on with a consultant, focusing on 3 key points of population growth, increase in wages, and increase of industry. Interesting, just considering some of the, I think, thoughts and priorities there given by some of the members of the chamber, but supposed to be done sometime before summertime of 2024. It was voted on, so they are going to move forward with that. Be interested to see how that works out. Staff gave their usual updates, and then lastly, there was an outgoing reception for Mayor Mark Hattasol, as they do every year for the outgoing mayor in December. Yesterday, had the December policy board meeting of the Flint Hills Metropolitan Planning Organization. Got a financial update, which is up to date and healthy currently. Both staff and KDOT provided us with updates. Among the items for approval were minutes for the November meeting, the 2024 Transportation Improvement Program, Amendment number 1, there's a change to that. We also passed the 2023 urbanized area boundary. Discussion items, including some IRS tax concerns that I think we're going to have to turn over to probably one of the congressional offices at this point in time. It's a real messy situation. Safety performance measure update, presentation specifically at the US 24 Flush Road corridor over there, and discussions on a few operation manual updates that will occur in the new year. And of course, this morning attended the Good Morning Manhattan breakfast hosted by the Chamber at 4 Point Sheraton. Guest speaker was Dick Carter from the Carter Group. They spoke of the legislative focus, priorities, and challenges with the upcoming 2024 Kansas legislative session. And then the chamber also drew the 2 names for the $2,000 and $5,000 prize from this holidays Think Manhattan initiative, which was geared to encourage small business shopping for the Christmas and holiday season this year. And I forgot both names already. I tried to write them down, but I didn't have a pen on me at the moment. So made that kind of impossible. If I don't write stuff down anymore, I just don't remember them. That's my old age. So other than that, I wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Don't give me that look over there.
Everyone feels so bad about your age.
You're getting so old.
Yeah, I feel like it sometimes. It's been a kind of a blur, blink and you miss it type of week, but lots was going on. So trying to get everything done before the holiday, so I don't come back into next week behind. So good to go, and that's all I've got this morning.
Well, I had kind of a quiet, not quiet week, but spent a lot of time. Went to several concerts, went to several Christmas gatherings, met with a lot of friends.
That didn't sound quiet.
Yeah, well, I did meet with Shelley Woodard on the Keith property acquisition. It's in here for, going over things for several days this week. And getting ready for my trip, which I'm leaving tomorrow. And a reminder that I'll be zooming in next Thursday's meeting. Hopefully all the technology will work. So. Did attend Good Morning Manhattan this morning, sat next to former Senator Hawk and outgoing Commissioner Linda Morris. So I had an interesting conversation when we could, and it was Commissioner Ford covered most of the items that were covered, so I won't go through that again, but that's all I have this morning.
Ready for business, commissioners? First item, I need a motion to approve corrected lease renewal agreement with GJL Real Estate Limited Partnership for the Aggieville Substation.
Let me clarify that. We signed an original one, but there was a couple of typos in the original one, so we're recompleting it to make sure that it's correct. We picked that up at the Monday law board meeting. So a couple of the numbers were drafted wrong. So to make the contract right, we're just going to redo it.
Oh, okay. So do we need to make a motion to negate the last one and approve this one, or
No, just approve this one, the other one.
superseded? Okay.
So I'll go ahead then and make a motion to approve the corrected lease renewal agreement with GJL Real Estate Limited Partnership for the Aggieville Substation.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the corrected lease renewal agreement for the Aggieville Substation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sure, please sign. Thank you. Need a motion to approve the advisory board Appointments and resolution.
So to go through each one of those separately, right?
It's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Go ahead and make a motion to approve the following appointments as listed for resolution number 122123, appointing Riley County representatives to councils and advisory boards.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve appointments listed on resolution number 122123 to Raleigh County representatives to the council and advisory boards. All in favor? Aye.
All three signed pages. You commissioners next have 2024 amended pay scale chart.
I don't know if you'd like to
Speak
speak
to
to
that.
it. It's really just line 18. So the range 18 had a formula error only on the PDF that was submitted to the commissioner. So it did not affect the pay scales that they were assigned to the employees. It did not affect the budget. But when the PDF was generated that we put in the packet for the commissioners, range 18 actually ended up with a 10% increase instead of a 5%, which is the COLA. And so that's the only change. But again, none of the employees have been assigned their own pay rate. Their letters were not sent out incorrectly. The budgets were formulated on the correct formulas.
Okay. Any questions?
Should I move the board approve the corrected 2024 pay scales effective December 23rd, 2023.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the corrected 2024 pay scales effective December 23rd, 2023. All in favor? Aye.
Next, Commissioner, Bradley County Employee Action Forms, Derek Dottie, as needed museum assistant, museum department, separation service, Tessa Hartman, new hire, as needed. Volunteer firefighter stipend, Jack Eton, new hire, as needed volunteer firefighter stipend, Lynn King, supervisor treasurer's office, separation of service, Dale Hawk, new hire, as needed volunteer firefighter stipend, Natasha Johnson, juvenile intake and assessment on-call officer, community corrections, separation of service, Jennifer Steele Gray, on-call juvenile intake, community corrections, separation of service, and Sherry Moran for promotion, tax supervisor and treasurer's office. Lots of them.
You might on this motion on here, it had approved the approved, so you might make sure that's not approved. Gotcha. Approve the approved.
Yeah, mine, at least mine has approved and corrected, so hopefully.
Okay.
It's correct. Oh, and I don't know if the other two commissioners heard the bad news because the 10:30 executive session's canceled, so we're gonna move the 12 o'clock up to 10:30.
Oh, that's
Knew
it.
that'd make you sad.
That's just sad.
Transitory, it's over there.
Yeah. End of year. Movements.
Thank you. The commissioners have Riley County Position Action Form for the Community Health Educator in the Health Department at a range 4.
I see that you have the annex and the position description attached and it's not attached.
Oh, it's not, no. Oh, the position description has not changed at all. I don't know how we between us got that.
Okay,
I apologize.
yeah, well, I just thought, we're missing
Yeah,
something.
well, if you want
If
to
it's the same.
at that, I mean, we could put it on again for next Thursday.
No, if it hasn't changed,
It hasn't
it's
changed.
fine. I just was
Oh, I
wondering.
was wondering why we had to do anything with that at all.
This is just, it's filled by, it's just a new position.
This is the new
Or something.
position. So the position ended, the gold sheet ended, that position you approved had an end date of December 23rd,
Oh.
22nd. So now, yeah, that you've approved it,
This
and
is
that
for
is
next-
the,
This is approved next year. Oh,
and it is the entire salary.
Oh,
for that
okay, so
position.
we didn't already approve that
You
part of
approved
it?
it verbally, but you have not signed it. And then I held it,
Gotcha,
and then
okay.
I held it for discussion.
Okay,
You approved it when Julie presented, but we also at that point believed that you had shared funding.
So shared now.
And now that is the entire salary,
Okay,
for the 20 hours a week for 2024,
okay,
salary and benefits.
okay.
it's for.
So yeah, I want to be really clear. The position hasn't changed, but it did end and now we're asking you to approve it for 2024,
Okay,
in Riley County specifically.
that makes more sense. Okay.
And if you would, just email them the job description.
Yeah, no
That way
problem.
they have it.
Absolutely.
That was in the records,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Okay,
Is this one just for another, a year?
It's for 1 year at
It's
this
for a
point,
1 year. too.
That's my understanding of what your intention
So,
was.
yeah, until,
Mhm.
try to get this.
Yeah,
Yes, figure it
kind
out.
of sort it out again,
Mhm.
yeah.
So-
And potentially it'll be sustainable,
Right.
We gotta figure that out.
Okay, so go ahead and make a motion to approve the community health educator position for 2024.
Second.
so moved and seconded to approve the community health educator, community position. For 24. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All 3, please sign.
That's it. Total hours, 1,040. That was 1,000. It could be over 1,000.
But this benefits, this does have benefits included. So the 1,000 hours is our as needed positions, and that is also where the federal government sets the benefits. Like you have to offer benefits over 1,000 hours. This position is scheduled for 20 hours a week with prorated benefits.
So there's okay, let's.
Yeah.
I'm sure we probably discussed that before, but I'm.
Well, I mean,
Keep track.
it's hard when you think 20 hours a week or less, and then you think, okay, it's 1,000, 1,040, yeah.
1,000 is
Yeah.
less than 20 hours.
Yes, it is. It comes out to be, I don't know, like 18.5, but most of our as needed do work 20 hours, but then they take, they're students a lot of times, so they'll take breaks off.
They don't have.
or holidays.
Yeah, they don't have. they
Yeah.
follow us, so
Yeah.
it's,
Makes sense for them.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we might adapt. You guys might want
Yeah.
something different, but
Any changes to the minutes, commissioners?
I didn't see any. Okay. Go ahead and make a motion then to approve the minutes as written from the December 18th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
second.
So moved and seconded to approve the minutes from December 18th. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Tentative agendas look okay, commissioners?
Yeah.
Any items for next week's press conference?
No.
Okay, next you have an executive session for 20 minutes.
thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
Do we need to make a motion to cancel that executive session?
Since it's really long,
You can,
yeah, we can already do.
go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I gotta make a motion that we cancel the executive session that was listed at 10:30 a.m. on the agenda.
Second.
So moved and seconded to cancel the executive session from our 10:30 agenda. All in favor? Aye.
Ready for your executive, commissioners?
Yes. I'll move that the county commission, including Chairwoman Pokey, Vice Chairman Ford, and Commissioner McKinley, recess into executive session on potential litigation for the purpose of consultation with Shelley Woodard, Deputy County Counselor, attorney for the commission, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, and the open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 9:58.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for the Board of Raleigh County Commissioners to recess into executive session until 10:50 a.m.
9:50.
Oh, 9:58. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm back.
Good.
Yes, I'm
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you.
I
Sorry.
didn't say it loud enough.
Okay.
Yes, we are back.
I move the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Board of Raleigh County Commissioners come out of executive session. All in favor? Aye.
I'll also move that the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that the record should reflect action and shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached during executive session. All in favor? Aye.
We'll also make one other motion that we add an executive session to the end of this morning's agenda.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we add an executive session to the end of our agenda today. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And I guess I need to make a motion that we recess as the Board of County Commission and then reconvene as the Board of County Health.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to recess as the Board of County Commissioners and reconvene as the Board of County Health. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, good morning. Julie Gibbs with the Health Department. We have 4 contracts for you today. These are yearly contracts. These are the same that you see every year. The only thing that's changed are the dates. So we've got the Kanza Prairie Community Health Center contract. We do rent space to Kanza. That nothing has changed. It's the same amount of space for the same amount of price. It is a good partnership with Kanza. We do refer a lot of patients back and forth. The other one was Positive Connections. We do give them space, an office for their case manager to assist with any HIV positive patients in Riley County. We've been doing this for I don't know how many years. It was before my time, but good partnership there as well. So we do make those referrals. We also have to have a medical director. That is still Dr. Hurl until he retires. They don't have a date for that yet. So we're still under his advisement for any standing orders. And we do meet with him quarterly to update him on our processes. And then we also have a relationship with the Women's Health Group. So we do have an OBGYN from their group that comes in monthly, once a month, sometimes more, to do the more invasive procedures. And we've been doing that for several years as well. That's Dr. Weber, and she's been in place with us for a couple of years now. So there's a fiscal impact on the county for those last 2 that I mentioned for the medical director and the OBGYN. And then we do actually receive money from Kanza. Any questions on any of those?
Positive Connections. I mean, it's new. Maybe it's there. We just didn't remember.
Yeah, they've been there for, like I said, I don't know how long it
Then
makes
there's,
for me.
yeah, me too. So nothing else.
Yeah.
They provided some little different services here. They're obviously with the pandemic, but and Kansas is just providing dental services.
They have dental, behavioral health, and they do have a provider on staff as well. So
Okay. I should have that was favorable. Okay.
quite a few services they offer in that small space, but
Any other questions? Okay.
Staying down, I'll go ahead and move that the Board of County Health sign on each of the 4 contracts as listed above.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded that the Board of County Commissioners sign both, Board of Health sign the 4 contracts as listed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sure, please sign.
thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Next Commissioner, you have Jerry Fike at 10 o'clock.
Great. Oh, yeah.
Signatures.
They are.
I didn't grab one, that's why. You are very correct.
He's gonna do it when there's no witnesses.
Exactly. Give away my plan. I probably also need to make a motion that we recess as the Board of County Health and then reconvene as the Board of County Commission.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we recess as the Board of County Health and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, there's no signatures. Thanks here.
For a half an hour and get to it. Okay. Well, we do. But we come out with a little-
Everyone's favorite.
Feeling was getting out here. Yeah.
Who's your son? He's 8. Yeah, and.
And then. You too. Reminds me a lot of Manhattan 35 years ago. And actually, Rich, do you have a few minutes post meeting to chat? Okay, we'll just do it down here.
Yeah. Just don't let me walk by your office.
Okay. I'll have the poison dart ready.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
Yes.
No.
We did that in the clerk's office earlier this week. I'm so late, that was a shame. Oh my gosh. Did you make an excuse?
Not necessarily. Yeah,
Is what now?
I just didn't mark them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I did. I thought it was just the
I
end.
just didn't mark them.
That's a lot of little post-it notes.
That it is. They are handy.
Yeah.
Speed.
I didn't look closely enough there.
Man.
Hey, Gary.
Ready for me?
Yeah,
All right. Good morning, commissioners.
morning.
I have some of my staff members with me today. Very, thank you, are familiar with her. And
She's been here a year or two.
Yeah.
and Greg Madison, our board agent, and John Jones, 4-H agent, and Megan Doherty, our family and consumer science agent, and Lance Chart, who is on the fair board. So For my report this month, I want to talk a little bit about Potter Hall. In light of the fact that we have the fair task force and those things going on, but I found a history in a sheet actually that I think Greg McClure found in his stuff as he's cleaning out his office preparing for retirement. But in those files, it was actually, I thought the building was built in 1960, but that's when the voters approved the building of that. And so then in 61, and I apologize for my spelling errors, Lance pointed them out, and I did that in a hurry, so I apologize for that. If it weren't for deadlines, that'd do great. City, county, and USD 383 agreed to purchase land joining each unit. As you all know, county has 57 acres, USD has 20, city's got 20. Potter Hall encasement hall were built in 1964, and the first fair was held there that year. So next year, that will be 60 years that the fair's been going on there. The baseball diamonds were built in 65, Bishop Stadium was constructed in 66, and I think it was that fall that the first football season was there. And then Reef Hall, which is the far north hall where they house the pigs and the sheep during the county fair, and where John has his garage sale, was constructed in 1967. So some of the concerns that we've talked about in the past, structural concerns, and I know that there's been some work done several years ago in the large room where the floor was dug out and filled back in, and there's still problems there. So the north wall has moisture issues, which I visited with you about before. There's cracks in the tile floor. I've got pictures of all these. Floor was dug out several years ago, as I mentioned. The clover room, the floor is sinking, the east wall. The door on the east side of the south wall goes into the kitchen. You can't open it now anymore without a hammer. The cinder block wall is cracking, and the restrooms are poorly ventilated, not air conditioned. And from a handicap accessible standpoint, the doors are wide enough for ADA, but there's no automatic door opening. So if anybody comes in a wheelchair, they can't get in there by themselves, at least not very easily. And so here's some of the pictures. This is the north wall where that plastic baseboard is coming off. If you look right here, you can see the cracking. There's moisture down through all of that. And that's the inside wall too, there by an electrical box. The paint's peeling. And matter of fact, Jeff Martinez, Public Works and Parks Department, asked if we want to keep painting it or what we're going to do. So he keeps painting it, scraping it, and painting it. This is more of the north inside wall, big spots, repainted. Cracks in the cinder block wall, that's on the inside, again on the north. More big chips coming off, moisture issues. This is a crack in the floor that runs east and west in the main room, and here's a larger view of that. And then there's also one that's running north and south in the larger room. And then in the clover room, this kind of shows, and it's really a little hard to distinguish, but that's about 1.5 inch drop from the bottom of the baseboard to where the floor has gone. And this is a close-up of that. Moisture there as well. And then that's the cinder block wall on the south end of the clover room, which is on the east side of the building. And I couldn't open it. I know I'm not that strong, but I couldn't open it with just pulling as hard as I could. On the north outside wall, we got the same problem. And that's been that way for a while, cracking and peeling. Another view of it, it's close up. This is over in the corner where the bathrooms were added on in that northeast corner. So that juts out from the cinder block wall where that rock wall is. And then this is troubling on the big door entrance on the northwest corner of the building. This rock facing is peeling off of that pillar. And so with all of these things, I think when I met with you all last time concerning this, which has probably been well over a year ago, I had suggested that I was looking into hiring an engineering firm to evaluate the building and see if you would go with that and what needs to be fixed, replaced, remodeled. And I think it was requested that John Ellerman take a look at it, at least at the north wall, to find out where the moisture was going in, and if he did that, I didn't hear anything about it. So the solutions are obviously you fix up what you've got, sinking the floor, will mud jacking work? I don't know. And where is the moisture getting in on the north wall? It's got to be up, obviously, because it's all the way down from the top. Is there instability in the ground, concrete, in the floor? The doors jamming, there's no air conditioning, and not adequate ventilation in the bathroom. Honestly, it's stifling and sticky and hot in there in the summertime. And then maybe looking at automatic door openers or replacement of the entire building, of course, which is the most expensive route. But I guess my question to the commissioners that I will present is, you know, this building is used so heavily and it's been there for a long time. And so do we want to just continue to watch it deteriorate? Do we want to fix it? Do we want to replace it? And I know it boils down to money, but I really think that we at least need to find out what is wrong with it structurally, because there's something there that's not right. And if that can be fixed, can we fix it at a reasonable cost, whatever reasonable is anymore? So that's my presentation. And if you want to ask questions of me or anybody else here that's supporting this presentation, feel free.
Well, obviously there's something wrong, you know, we know that. It's structurally settling, which happens all over the town. How does this relate to the possibilities you're looking at and the task force? You know, if we want to move it or if we want to relocate it, how does that all come together?
Well, the task force is basically not doing anything. We came to the conclusion that, number one, there's, you know, what you want to build or what they want to build or what we want to build is cost prohibitive in terms of relocating. So the thought of the task force was, and I think I presented that last time we talked about this, was we just simply try to improve what we have at the current fairgrounds. And so this is one of those things. And it's more of a, you know, it's a county building, but it's used by the city just like the whole park is. You know, you go out there any day of the week and you've got people throwing hammers and shot puts and discus and running up and down and in the big carnival area. The track meets going on, all those kinds of things. And the building gets used by all the civic groups in town for different things. And so it's not only county pot or fall, if you want to look at it that way, it's also kind of a Manhattan gathering place. And so that's why it's probably job one on renovation of the fairgrounds. That's what the fair task force recommended, was renovation of our current facilities, and that would be this. So I'm simply asking if we can have someone who come in with an engineering firm and do an evaluation to see what can be done, if anything, to correct it.
Can we renovate it or do we have to rebuild it? Maybe in the same location or adjacent, that kind of thing.
Right.
I will say that, because I do all the rental and fairgrounds, that I'm starting to have people that are starting to ask, and of course, because they know it's a county building, they refer to you, saying, you know, are the commissioners going to take care of this building or are they gonna demolish it? And it's been groups that have been using it for a year.
Yeah.
But with renting it for 40 years that I have, I've got to say that it is in probably the worst shape that it's ever been in. When the large room was dug out, it was dug out on the west side, because they thought there was water flow going underneath the building, and that's why it was shifting a lot. But they never found anything, and they filled it back in, but now we have this big crack that are going to the floors from that, renovation or that pulling out of what they did. So anyway, I'm just saying that if you receive money for the rental on this, it goes back into your general fund. And yet we've got to do something in order to keep it so that people want to rent it. And I rent it a lot.
It's always busy.
Always busy.
I don't know, I'm kind of of the opinion that 60 years heavy use, it's probably outlived its useful purpose. And if we're gonna shift and do some other things with that location of the fairgrounds, obviously I agree, this is the first of that process, but I'm not the professional here. I'm not an engineer, so I don't have all the expertise behind it, but did add that as part of our discussion or a space and needs study as to what to do with fairground facilities. This obviously includes that too, so it can be part of that if we so choose to decide that, and that could be something that's done upfront and quickly with the midst of everything else, because there's other needs too that can be combined along with that. And we can figure all those things out at the same time. But I'm almost of the opinion that we're going to have a private and public collaboration on whatever it is that we do here, whether it is a complete overhaul, because it would be a complete overhaul, and I'm of the opinion that that's going to cost about the same as something new. I know we were in Seneca for a Northeast Kansas officials, and they just built a new building for their extension there, and obviously ours would have to be a little bit larger and have to take a little bit of a different mindset, but they didn't go all out. It's a steel metal building that they really did a good job on the inside on. So there's ways of being responsible with that and coming up with creativity and innovation to get us to where we need, and to build a building that would work for both currently and hopefully not for 60 years, but at least for a good long term, 25, 30, somewhere in that range. And one by one, we got to start considering the other ones along with it and how to reshape that area and make it usable for us and make it usable for the things that we're doing, as well as the school district and the city of Manhattan. So,
Gary, is there any way that we can get K-State, the extension office involved in helping us with this?
Looking at it, you mean looking?
Yeah, looking at it and trying to, I don't know if we know there's structural problems.
We can reach out to them for sure.
Because I think the one in Seneca was done by the extension.
They got left a quarter section or half section of ground.
Yeah.
They were being forced out of their county building, and some farmer who the county or the district extension director over there told me, he says, I never thought he even liked us. And then he died and he left us 320 acres or whatever it was of ground. So they sold it and built their own building, which was awfully generous.
I think for us, I don't think location will be the problem necessarily. I think we've got ground to do it. It's just, what do we want? What do we need?
Did we start
in the present and, and looking outward 10, 15, 20 years or so, what that need's going to be at least. And like I said, I think it's going to have to be a public and private collaboration on how we move forward on that, because everybody's using it.
Let me ask you, if citizens couldn't and groups couldn't rent this space, where would they go? They got other places?
No, they don't have other places. Actually, I pick up quite a few, because a lot of times, ever since COVID, a lot of the churches where these groups were meeting, they have shut down totally, allowing groups to come in the evenings and stuff, because if they're not associated with the church, they're not. So now they're starting to have their their monthly meetings at the fairgrounds. So rental has been, it was kind of slow during the COVID time, but it is really ramped back up again. We are if there is a Red Cross emergency, we are a shelter. So during the flood, we housed a lot of people. And then, when we've had a tornado, I mean, every now and then when there is something that's going to happen, they will contact me and tell me that, you know, I need to clear out anybody who might be reserving it because they're gonna need it for Red Cross. So we are the birthplace that they expect. And because of the barns, when these people are taken out of their homes, they have animals, dogs, cats, whatever. So then they use one of our barns to actually house those animals while these people are in the building itself. But there for the large flood, they were there for almost 3 weeks because they don't have anywhere else to go. But no, the civic organizations are really starting to come back to us, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, Bloodmobiles. This is where they come because I am gonna say, we're probably the cheapest place for them to go because a lot of these groups can't afford.
Right.
You know, we're $30 an hour, or you guys were $30 an hour for nonprofit groups to rent a large room, and it's an hourly rate. And they find that they can do a 2 or 3 hour meeting, you know, and they can afford that. If they go other places, it's sky high and they can't afford it. And again, the churches aren't allowing it. So, yeah, we are using it. They are using it a lot, and it's not just here in Manhattan. We have people from Junction City, Wamego. We have all kinds of groups that come over to Manhattan and actually have their meetings here. Groups here.
I wonder if we can get collaboration of different entities and, you know, for fundraising efforts to fundraise.
You guys
You
usually
had talked
gross
about
around
fundraising.
$35,000 a year is what you usually get, but
Yeah.
that's only about half of the people that use it because the building was actually built for 4-H. When it was taken to the public to build the facility, it was for 4-H. So the 4-H clubs have their meetings out there, and of course they're free charge. They don't have to pay anything. But then the other half, and we have some profit and mostly nonprofit, but you're grossing about 35,000 every year just from the use of the building. So anyway, but like I said, it goes back into the general fund. It doesn't come to extension. So
We have someone out there. Jeff, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we maintain it and pay the insurance and I mean, it 35,000, but it's
We don't
a
make
drop in
any
the
money.
bucket compared to what it costs. It's just whatever the commission does, it's gonna be an increase in ad valorem taxes if we do something.
it is true though. They're back when I first started doing this, the money that was brought in for the building actually paid for a park person and paid all their own utilities and everything. Things have gotten a lot more expensive. So of course, that's not a possibility any longer. It does bother me a little bit about not totally handicapped accessibility. Because I do have groups that come out and do call and ask. I have state groups that come and say, can we get wheelchairs in? Which there is one toilet in each, in the men and women, but there are no door openers.
Well, that's something we in the short term we could fix pretty easily.
Yeah, and you know, Leon was going to do that a long
Yeah.
time ago and he like didn't get around to it, which is fine, but it does need to be done when it's a public building like that, especially when it's a Red Cross place. It needs to be.
Yeah.
So that people can get in.
Yeah, we do need to get on that one.
Public works.
It was used as a place to give COVID shots for
COVID
many
shots,
weeks
yes.
during the
The
pandemic.
health department used to a lot,
Oh, yeah.
so.
So do we want to look at what's before us as far as the structural issues? We want to do that, or we want to spend the money or make sure the public works does it? Or
Well, I think we need to have. I don't think Public Works is structural engineers,
Yeah.
you know, that's not what they do. I know they've tried to look at it, they can't figure out what's going on with that north wall, where the water's coming from the road. So,
It's been looked at several times over the years and they've done some things and it continues to move and shift and it's a money pit.
yeah,
It's a Band-Aid of cancer at this point in time. It's just,
so do we throw more money at the money pit or do something to it?
And I think that may have been part
Yeah.
of Leon's hesitation, you know. How far do you go on that thing?
And
Which,
it's still being used for public, public groups and public events. So, part of the ADA does need to be solved now. But outside of that, I think there's several things we're probably going to have to look at. That's just where we're at.
If for some reason we moved and put Potter Fall up, at the county offices, would you still get all the groups up there, do you think? I mean, it's not far, but.
I had a public works you're talking.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I think you would. I'm of the opinion you build things, they'll come. If it's a nice enough facility, they'll go there.
yeah, like Lynn said, they're coming from other jurisdictions to you, but I mean,
We do
the
meetings.
commissioners got criticized to no end for putting it so far out of town when it was originally built.
Yeah,
It's not that far out of
it's
town.
like Seward's icebox, right? The last-
I think the bigger issue needs to be solved first, but I don't get to do that in the long term. Where's it gonna be?
Okay.
In terms of public works in that area up there, I still think that we're going to need that for other county related services. We're getting used every day, and land isn't getting any easier to be able to get, to buy, to purchase, to even be for sale, much less have at this point in time. So I
We
think
do
we're-
have a lot of land for Zico too, that's not being.
right, and that's been my point all along, and we could reconfigure all that and make that work for a long, long time. But in terms of Potroff Hall, I'm of the opinion that we're gonna have to think about something different at some point in time. That really,
But if it's at some point, even if we hired an architect and started, it'd be at least 2 years before we have a building.
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't hurt. I think we need to have someone look at it and see if we can see if it's worth, see what we can do just to get it usable for a few more years, but I mean, if they come in and say everything needs to go, then it needs to go, but I think it'd be worthwhile to have an engineer look at it and look at the problems and see what's going on. You said when they tore out the floor, did they tear out the whole floor in the big room?
No, they only tore out half of it. It would be from the west side to the pillars that run in there. They pulled all that out. They dug it down about 6 feet. Again, they thought that there was just water that was running down underneath the building, and that's what was, changing the floor.
Yeah.
Problem is the group that they hired, about halfway through, them and whoever here at the county did not get along. And they did their assessment and then they filled it in. And so when they filled it in, they did not brace it back up. So pretty well, we already knew that the floor was gonna drop after it was all done. But they didn't find it, there was no moisture or anything underneath the floor, so they couldn't find anything, at least on that side. Problem is that when they did the renovation of the building, they put the rock on the front. So they didn't know if that was actually helping pull it down, but they also put it on the back, so they don't know what if there was some problem in between doing that, but the floor itself being taken out did not solve anything and they didn't find anything, so.
So that's what that crack is.
That's what the big crack is.
It's not-
That's why it sets up here at the top. Problem is every now and then, the flooring will come up and somebody catches their feet on it, their heel on it or stuff, so. Caretaker, John Hartness right now, he's doing a wonderful job. He tries to take care of everything to make sure nothing happens. But that's why the floor looks the way it does, is because it was taken out on one side and then when it was put back in, they didn't do a very good job of keeping it structurally on the underneath to hold it up.
Lynn, what year was that? Do you know what year it was?
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say like in the late 90s, maybe somewhere around
So
there.
it's been over-
Sunflower
oh, it's been over
Construction.
20 years.
Sunflower Construction was the name of the group. I remember that, and they weren't in business but a couple years after that. They never found anything, but I'm thinking it was around that time.
Well, we've kind of gone past our time. I apologize to Corey or whoever's following us, or Amanda. Anyway, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna retire in 2 years, so if you could give that time.
No, that's contingent on, we'll get it done. You have to be here during that time, so.
Been
maybe-
49 years by now.
Fair enough, fair
My
enough.
goodness.
Merry Christmas.
Ready for Amanda, commissioners?
I can be super quick, so.
That'd be great.
I'm doing. Okay, good morning, commissioners, and with planning director. Keats, of course. We have to do a request for proposals for the environmental assessment for Keats Lagoon. That's what I have in your packet here. We had asked, the gentleman who performed the service for the city of Manhattan connection a couple years ago when he used to be with MAP, the Midwest Assistance Program. It was free back then because it was with MAP, but nobody on MAP staff can do it anymore. That gentleman has moved on to his own, firm. He submitted a proposal to us, because I wasn't sure what the cost would be. It was north of the 20K, it was about 28. So of course, that means we have to go through our RSP process, which is what I'm trying to get started. We're under quite the time crunch, as seems to be happening with this core project. So, and of course, with the holidays, that of course, but so if everything looks okay to you folks, again, I'm trying to go really fast, but please ask any questions or whatnot if you have them. But I just want to be able to get this out, get it going. There's a handful of firms that I know of that I can send it to. I'll research and find some more so we can make sure we have plenty to send. And then just get the proposals and get it moving. It's required for USDA funding. We have to do this environmental assessment, so it's a requirement.
Can this be used for the state funding as well? Is that?
Thank you for asking that. It will be, so the grants that we're gonna fill out for the Kansas Water Office, we are gonna do a technical assistance grant request, and that will be in there. Of course, we don't know what we'll get, but of course I will put that in there, that cost in there.
Or the state grant, state.
Correct.
Yeah, because they can't use this one then. If we do this one, the state can't use this one that's for the USDA is.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh, well, if we do this assessment, the RFP for this one, is that just going to cover the requirements for the USDA or will it also cover the state requirements?
So it'll cover USDA requirements and the SRF, KDHE SRF requirements as well, so the state revolving fund.
But then the technical assistants can step in and pay for it.
Yes, correct. It's an eligible expense under the technical assistance grant, and we are gonna put in for it. Again, unfortunately, we won't know for a few months if we'll get that grant. But yes, we will request it. It's one more for place. Yes, yeah.
We have to do.
And then you said, well, like I say, hopefully we can get the technical assistance, but otherwise it comes out of the ARPA funds, but that's what we've already set aside, not. in
Correct.
addition.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Just want to put it. Now, it needs, needs to be done, has to be done.
Yeah, for sure. It has to be done.
I'm going ahead and make a motion, for the Board of County Commission to direct staff to issue the RFP, on professional services, for environmental assessment for the Keats non-charging, lagoon.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to direct staff to issue the RFP for consultant services to perform Keats non-discharging the lagoon environmental assessment. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks very much.
Clancy, you're back.
It's non-COVID, this is whatever that's worth.
That's how they all start out.
I'm gonna wear a mask on the plane too. I tell you what.
I'm getting my try of what's going around, everybody else is not. It's fun, but wanted to bring to you the proposed contract for the service that the county uses every couple of years to provide those aerial photos that are so critical to both our appraiser's office, the county attorney, other offices, and the public. To provide good images from aerial photography. We had a final negotiation session this morning, and the vendor, proposed vendor, and their legal team, their sales team were very cooperative. We really appreciate their efforts. Spent tweaking just a couple of things. What you have in front of you, from our perspective, is a very fair agreement for both parties. They weren't enthusiastic about some of our proposed changes. We weren't enthusiastic about some of theirs, but in the end,
Negotiation.
that's what negotiation is all about. Both parties left feeling, I believe, that this is a fair agreement. I'm sure. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Corey for some information, so you have a little bit better background about what this involves, the cost, that kind of thing. Which I have the agreements here.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. So in October, I came forward and asked that we could move forward into this direction because the vendor we were going to, or interested in working with, was a new vendor for us in regards to flight. We've worked with them in the past. It's Eagle View. We switched vendors that we were using, and now we're going back to them. But they offer a list of services and things that the other vendors out there don't, which is why then I asked to move forward in a proprietary or a sole source with them versus an RFP based on our meetings with Anna, with GIS, and then also working with the state and who the possible vendors out there were. Came to you with the proposed cost, which was within budget, or what I have budgeted over the next 3 flights, going out 6 years, 5 years out there. Minimal increase in cost. There is some in what we have been, but minimal in regards to all the additional services we're getting, especially on the public search side, which has become our biggest issue. A lot of the users out there are beginning to struggle in what they're trying to search for and find as GIS mapping and imagery becomes more complex in what we're doing. So it took a little bit back and forth on contracts as Clancy was explaining and getting language and things going there. Meeting this deadline today and signing allows us to move forward and keep our schedule where we would like to be in regards to flight, which would be in around the month of February of next year, so that we try to find that leave off, no snow days when they can fly. When they can fly, also in coordination with Fort Riley, which is a unique piece that some counties have, where we have to have approval through them when we can, or they can fly the boundaries of Fort Riley. In working with Eagle View, been great to work with, sales, legal. I think Clancy as he was speaking to their negotiations, but it went well, and so I would just be asking, there was no difference in the approved cost that you approved in October. The difference when I came forward in October is that in the past, it has been an agreement between Riley County and the City of Manhattan and our vendor. I did though talk with City of Manhattan, and they thought, well, how about we have our own internal agreement between our 2 entities for the portion they would pay and they wouldn't be in, and that would eliminate or remove their legal team from needing to review it all as well. They use it between us. If for some reason the City of Manhattan would not have interest in the imagery or doing any of this, we would still have to go forward with the full cost of the project anyway. So this does clean it up in regards to that. So it is an agreement between Riley County and Eagle View. Clancy has gone through contracts, as you were just saying, and both parties are agreed as far as the counselor side of things go, the language there. And so I would just ask we move forward with signature of contracts, and then I'll let them know today, and we will move forward with our flight schedule. Again, this will be a flight in 24, in 26, and in 28. I was able to negotiate a set price for the next 3 flights in doing this. So that'll be nice, that it'll keep that as a kind of a flat amount as we go forward. So
That's actual phone ring too. That's done.
Best seats.
yeah.
Turn
What the
it
charges
off.
are on that.
Stick around for lunch.
Oh, hey, we're buying.
Steak and lobster.
All right.
I bought 2 boxes.
That's VHS. I don't have.
So yes, I've done my part and signed and just ask the commission approve and go forward with the contract. Do you have any questions though?
You explained it pretty well in October.
And the city was. The city pays for part of it. Is that, I don't know exactly.
So they have,
They
it's
use
roughly about $12,000 per flight. And their council and their GIS department agreed that we would just do an internal between.
Without involving.
Yes, yeah. So once we approved and moved forward, our original contract had their portion of it on there. And so we'll go back to that, which they had agreed in email and in verbal that amount will be fine. So now we'll move forward after this approval with an agreement between city and county. Yeah.
I think that's probably a better way to
Yeah.
do it. Cleans it up and we do MOUs and local agreements.
Yeah, we're really excited. Again, some highlights of this is that Eagle View has a direct tie-in to the appraiser system that they use, so they can go directly from within their application directly over to imagery, a new piece. We're getting some more of our county flown at a higher quality level in doing this. We'll also now have all of our imagery in a single search environment versus multiple search environments. So every year in the past we've flown, that would kind of be a separate program you'd search in and you had to go out of one into the other if you wanted to go to older imagery. Now it'll all be in a single. Where that'll be beneficial is that we also hosted for K-State and for the police department in using it. And so the other is that the deliverable will be much quicker to them in regards to when they'll have imagery available to them. The online availability of the imagery comes at a much quicker delivery than the actual physical when it's brought to us on disk and so forth. So we're looking forward to having that available quicker to the public and to entities like K-State and the PD.
I'm gonna make a motion then to approve the contract for Eagle View and all the attached contractual provisions provided as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the board approve the contract from Pictometry International. It will be as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair, please sign. Thanks, Corey. Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you, Commission, and have a wonderful holiday.
You too.
Merry Christmas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's.
Hey, Commissioners, clear up some business while you guys are signing that. I never have received answer back from State Affairs, aka Hopper's report for the 398% increase in price. Just not renew.
Not right now. I can hardly, I have to move it from one file to another file and then open up the link or something on it to even read it anymore. It's a pain, yeah.
I've got, I never even get a chance to read all. They spit out so many things.
Yeah.
I mean, if they spit out a summary once a week, and then spend out sometimes twice a day. Students.
Yeah, and then the legislative.
And it's the same stuff. And 2 or 3 things. I go, wait a minute, I just read that.
In terms of the legislative committee information, I can get that off of KAC's
Yeah.
website.
I can't see spending another 300%.
Sounds good. We will not renew. And Commissioners, I will get a hold of John Ellerman to have him get before you on seeing exactly how the board wants to proceed on the issues at Potter Fall.
Okay.
That way we can get going a certain direction, whichever way you want to go. Ready for the exec, Commissioners?
Okay.
Yeah,
We need how many?
half an hour.
Another half hour.
So 11:10 is
So there are
right.
basically 3 of us.
Yeah. If we need to go back into one of us, we can go back. Okay, I'll move that the county commission, including Chairwoman Boki, Vice Chairman Ford, and Commissioner McKinney recess into executive session. Potential litigation for the purpose of consultation with Shelley Woodard, Deputy County Counselor, Attorney for the Commission, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, and the open meeting to resume in the County Commission chamber at 11:10 a.m.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. The Board of Raleigh County Commissioners recess into executive session until 11:10 a.m. All in favor? Aye.
Always.
And we are back, commissioners.
Okay, we're gonna move the Board of County Commissioners from out of executive session.
Second.
Moved and seconded that the Board of Raleigh County Commissioners come out of executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll move that the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that action will be taken in accordance with the consensus reached during the executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Shelley, you get Cindy the language for that last executive, please.
It's the same as the first one.
Reflecting consensus reached.
No, the entire motion.
The one I gave you, they're identical. It's the only thing that changes the time.
It keeps going down.
It's automatic now. That's a security change they made. Every 15 minutes, our computers will.
If we
time out.
move it, if you don't.
It's security.
You gotta keep clicking on it.
Yep. I called specific. I said, well, why in the heck
Why
do
do
I
they
gotta
have
do
to
this?
do
And
this?
it's a permanent change.
I've got some issues on Outlook I'm gonna have to get fixed here too, when it updated, unfortunately.
Not a change I'm very fond of, but
Yeah.
like I told you, you know who's in charge?
Actually,
Corey.
yeah.
I don't have anything else.
One thing I brought up with Elizabeth, I don't know if you got those letters or year-end letter, it's got our name on it. And we never see it before it went out.
Which letter? Which
The
Employee letter.
employee letter with our attached pay thing.
Oh.
You know, it's, if you look at the bottom of it, it says it's from us. And I never saw it before it went out. I talked to Elizabeth, I said, if I'm gonna, my name's on it, I want to see it before it goes. I didn't have any problems with it, but I just had a problem that something without my name on it that I've never seen.
That's a good point.
And I look back, it was the same way last year. I just didn't catch it last year, but
Well, another thing I would like to see is to know ahead of time if one of our department heads is taking off a week and that we don't know about it and you know, something needs to
We
be.
did.
They're not notifying you. They used to notify you. You guys
I
get
thought so.
notified?
HR should notify us of that.
Well, usually it's the department head, usually each department head.
Okay, we'll be sure to tighten that up. It used to happen.
Make sure that-
It used to
I
happen.
don't remember hearing,
Mhm.
I usually think,
like John Ellerman's gone for a week and.
he sent an email.
yeah, he said in here, it said.
Yeah, and he sent an email
He hasn't
too.
missed that.
Oh, okay.
But it would be nice if we had like a letter or something from HR that said.
A list of,
every-
yeah,
a
a
list
list
of
of
who's
where,
taking
that's
off and
true.
when,
Mhm.
because there's so many of
We can
them.
do that.
Okay.
Oh, well, I thought you were getting notified.
I was aware. So
Okay.
Mhm.
Just a little.
Yeah.
This is a little bit on the same topic, so I might as well go and ask. Next Thursday, we're hoping to do kind of a celebration for our Pop-Tart Bowl, and I have a little announcement that I would like someone to read who is comfortable doing that. I will send it to you and see what you guys think. We can have a staff member do it, or if one of you would like to do it, that would be wonderful.
I'm
Just
gonna
kind of
be
an
on
announcement of what we're
Zoom, so-
doing, you know?
Oh, I can do that. That's fine. It's just,
Yeah,
I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. That's
Thank
fine.
you. I'll send it to all three of you so you can see it.
Okay. Okay. I think they're done.
Hope we're done.
Excellent.
Have enough.
Okay, I'll make a motion then that we adjourn the December 21st meeting of the Riley County Commission.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the December 21st meeting of the Board of Raleigh County Commission. And I would wish a Merry Christmas and a Happy